To start with, can we get an update on Asprilla? How is he doing?
Yeah, he's fine. It was just a little bit of dehydration. Before the match, he was a little bit ill and had thrown up a couple times, and I think he didn't have much in the tank, so he was a bit dehydrated, and I think that led to him being dizzy at the end of the match.
Is he going to potentially play this weekend, or does he need time to recover from that?
Well, he's fine. I mean, he was cleared to practice immediately the next day. So we held him out of training Thursday. He trained today.
And then there was at least a report today that said that Audie's definitely not playing in Seattle. Is that true, or where are you at with Audie?
Yeah, Audie's out for the weekend. That's the bad news. Good news is we think we'll have most everybody healthy for New York. So that would be the first for the year to have basically everybody healthy back, and that's including Ridgewell, Gleason, Audie. So tough not to have a couple of your best players, your top guys for this match, certainly, but we've been managing it, and we'll continue to manage it this game.
And I guess the last person, so Ridgewell, Audie, Gleason out. Is Marco, you said he could potentially factor in this game or could potentially go with T2?
Yeah, he's been healthy. Marco's been healthy. He was out, I think it was 40 days, 41 days, so just getting him back in. But he's been in training the last several weeks, and we'll probably get him a couple games with T2 just to get him 90 minutes fit, and also he needs to continue to develop. He's a young player, so it wasn't ideal having him out, because he probably would have gotten a couple games at least. But now it's getting him back in and continuing to make steps in his development.
And looking ahead to this game, there's always, added emotion when you play Seattle, but this game has a lot of significance in terms of the standings as well. How does that kind of just add to the excitement around this game?
Yeah, like you said, it's always a game regardless of where the standings are at. That's a big game. It means a lot to us, the players, the coaches, the club as a whole, supporters. I saw a little piece with Dempsey and Valeri, and yeah, it's bigger than 3 points for sure. And so it's one of those games you look forward to in that regard. It's great this year that both teams are near the top. There have been some other years where teams are fighting, for that red line. And what I hope is that this becomes an exciting game, not a tense, nervy type game, but it becomes a great showcase with two of hopefully the biggest clubs fighting it out, and I hope it's an attractive game.
Obviously, I'm sure you had faith in your own team, but are you a little bit surprised that both of you guys are at the top of the standings, given Seattle was below the red line back in July, is 10 unbeaten. You guys have won, have only lost 2 in your last 10, won the last 2 games.
Yeah, not surprised, because that's the way this goes. Obviously, I've said it a lot every year. I mean, you can't really get too high or low or read into where you're at this stage or that stage. We keep a steady hand, and we know it's where you end. That's the most important thing, and we've done a good job of that. Not getting too low, not having too many losses in a row, and letting the wheels fall off in low periods of a season. And every team has it. There's not a team in this league that doesn't go through a low period, a rough patch. We like to time ours in the middle or the beginning of the year, it seems, which is better than the end of the year. So hopefully we can continue this good form that we've been in. It's great to know we're going to be getting back and healthy. Really pleased that we got 6 points in the last 2 games. We took care of business. We know this is a massive game coming up, though, and we have Cascadia Cup to play for. We have seeding to continue to play for. We have bragging rights to continue to play for, but not surprised that both teams are fighting for the top, because with Seattle and Portland, you have 2 good teams and very talented players, and a lot of history. When I look at Seattle, we have a lot of respect for them. They're a good team. This may be the most talented Seattle team I've seen in the 5 years. Certainly the deepest Seattle team. So we have our work cut out for us. But I like my team in these type of games where maybe people don't expect us to get it done because history says we haven't gotten it done there, except for the playoffs. We seem to somehow pull it off in those type of situations. So we're going to be up for it. We're excited about it. We're looking forward to it. And we're going to go in, trying to get a good result in this game.
Caleb, you kind of alluded to having like a rough patch earlier. After the last time you guys played in Seattle, you said that was the best that you thought the team had ever played up in Seattle. And since then, you've scored in 14 consecutive games. Was there any sort of, do you get a feeling there was a turning point after that match?
Yeah, it's tough because as a coach, oftentimes I know that my team's playing better than people think and better than the results are showing. And yet, that, sentiment around, the noise around, it's hard not to let that, trickle in the minds and the heads of your players in the locker room. And that's where I come in, to make sure that the players understand that we're playing well. We're right there, and let's focus on, the process, and let's lock out everything. And that's the way we've built this culture here in this club, in the locker room in this club. And it's why we are a team that's pretty steady and why we're always in and around where we should be, always, in every single season. Obviously, at the end of a couple of years, we missed it by a point and 2 points. That wasn't good enough, but we're always in and around it. And I'm real pleased this year that we're in and around the top versus in and around the red line. That's always a much better position to be in. And we're getting healthy. So we've actually done it injured the majority of the year without our top guys. I said it. I try not to say anything that I don't mean, always, even though people don't want to hear it and they don't like to hear what I'm saying. I try to be completely honest with everything I'm saying. So when it's bad, and I'll say it. When it's good, and I'll say it. I think we had in that game, analytics or not, I believe in them because they tell a story. We had, I think, the most shots there other than one other game in the history of the club. So as far as the lopsided nature of how we played, I think it's evidenced in the analytics of the game. But this is bottom line, too. So there are going to be games we don't play well and win, and I'll be happy with those, too. But I think you always want to understand the performance, and I thought we performed really well there. And I think over the last 10 games, with the exception of Toronto, the last 20 minutes, and RSL, second half with the red cards, the last 10 games, I think we've been very good form, and overall playing extremely well. Last game's a good example. We set the club record for passing. So again, that doesn't tell the complete story, but it tells a story of control. It tells a story, and our passing game means something to us. So that tells me a lot that we're keeping the ball, we're controlling games, we're sharp in possession, and for me, that's another positive step.